Hey guys, what's up? Himar here, and welcome to a very classic Mario game. This is going to be a mini-series of sorts, and after my first failed audio post-recording here, I've learned that I need to be going a lot faster. Today we are here to be playing Mario Bros, and this is a game that I played quite a bit, both the actual copy of Mario Advance, I did have it for GBA, so I did have the copy of Mario 2 and Mario Bros. So I am going to be going all the way through up to stage 99 and attempting to max out the score as well. I don't remember which comes first, but this is a remake of the classic Mario Bros. Arcade game, and a very good one at that, so this is one I enjoy playing. The only reason I'm doing post-commentary is because A, it's very hard to talk over this game and play at the same time, and B, it's a little bit easier to focus on what I want to talk about in post-commentary for this game. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. For those of you that are more of a modern video game addict of sorts, like me, you probably recognize the stage from Smash U. That's initially where this came from, but now you're getting to see the old school version of it. So in short, there are enemies on the stage, and in order to clear a stage, you have to defeat all the enemies. Now for these first couple stages, it's pretty easy. Your controls are pretty standard here. A is your jump. You can move around with your D-pad. I mean, I'm playing this on an emulator, so it's a bit off for me, but otherwise it's essentially the same. The object is to knock the enemies that are, in this case, spinies. You have to hit them from below in order to knock them over. Once they're knocked over, you can just make contact with them and it will kill them immediately. However, if you make contact with them while they're upright, it will of course kill Mario, because Mario doesn't have HP, no mushrooms or anything like that. One hit and he's out. Right there you just saw an example of a squat jump. Basically, if you hold down the down button, it will make Mario start to flash and he can jump. Really, it's not that useful. I just did it there to show it off, but you can hit the POW block at the top of the stage right there by using that. Aside from that, really, all else you need to know, enemies will drop coins whenever they're defeated. You can obviously chain together point combos by getting 2 kills very quickly in succession. Just simple things like that. Once all the enemies are defeated except for one, the final enemy will turn blue and it will start moving very fast. Now, the only thing this does is it makes it where it moves faster. Its HP does not change, it still takes 1 hit to kill. However, if you knock over, for example, you have 2 enemies and you knock them over at the same time, then that blue one will not appear if you kill them both before they can manage to get back up. Right there you just saw a very basic example of a bonus stage as I just cruised through it. You'll see these now and again, and they will refill your meters for the POW block, so you'll be able to use them again if you used them all up super early. And they'll give you the typical stage, and there'll be coins all over the stage. Later on, these will get quote-unquote more difficult, but really it's not that bad. Collecting all these will give you a bunch of points, and also, as you saw, give you a 1-up as well. So, moving on to stage 5, you can see the background has changed. Enjoy that background change while you can, because it's not going to be there forever. After stage 10, it locks onto the same way for the rest of the game. A bit of a shame, but what can you do? As you can see, we have new enemies here. These are called sidesteppers, I believe, but they're crabs. That's basically what they are. Unlike the spinies, these will take 2 hits to kill. The first one makes their teeth look like piano keys. At least that's what it always looked like to me. And then after you hit them a second time, they'll flip over and you can kill them proper. So, essentially just a tougher spiny. Note that if you deal 1 hit to them instead of 2 and then let them keep running, they will start moving faster. Like the spinies, if there is 1 crab remaining, it will start going very fast, and especially if there's 1 crab left that's already taken a hit, it will go incredibly fast, so you will have to watch out for that. Should you choose, in addition to that, you can also crouch while hitting the enemy to get that weird ducking pose. In addition, if the enemy lands on a spot that you're not really sure is a good setup because there's too much going on, which you'll see a lot of later, you can also hit the enemy again to knock them back upright. If the enemy stays down for too long, then it will start to shake and then turn a different color. It will go from blue, or red as the case may be for the crabs and for the spinies, to green, and then to the blue that you'll see for the last enemy. Now, for whatever reason, these new enemies right here, the bees, I think they're called flying something, flying fire, it's really weird, but they're bees essentially. They're pretty easy, they just do a little hopping motion, and then you have to hit them whenever they're, touching the ground. In addition, this is one of the few enemies you'll have to time correctly with the POW blocks, because if they are in the air and use the POW block, they will not get hurt by it. This, of course, also applies to when enemies are falling from one platform to the other. Fireballs, however, will actually immediately get killed by the POW block effect. Now, there are 2 different types. You're seeing the first one here. This is a green one. You can hit them from below. You'll get 200 points for it, and it will knock the fireball out. These are what I would like, or the green one, what I'd like to call is a penalty fireball, and I use that term loosely. It will basically show up on whatever row you're on, so the bottom row, second to lowest, the middle one, and then the high one. It will show up on whatever row that you've been frequently on, and it will start showing up whenever the game feels that you've taken too long, but later on you're going to see it in every stage, because even if you go as fast as you can, it's still going to show up, so just get used to seeing it. I am speeding up the game right there because I am playing on emulator, so just a fair warning about that. Another bonus stage, as you just saw. Later on they will get more difficult, like I said. They will give you frozen platforms later, and then after that the platforms will turn completely invisible altogether. So once that happens, you'll have to know the path pretty well, and then after that what they will end up doing is shaving some seconds off of your timer, so you'll have to complete it faster. But even then, it's not very difficult. There's no enemies or anything like that. They don't add that, so for the most part you can get away with a fair bit here. Right there, new enemy. What is that thing initially called? It's like an icy slip, I think, but we know it today as a freezie. But yes, it was not actually called that back in the day. What they will do is they will go around the stage, and whenever they reach the middle of a platform on any of the platforms that it can reach, it will self-destruct and turn the platform into ice, making the conditions slippery. For me, I would treat the freezie like it's an enemy. You don't have to kill it like the fireballs in order to progress to the stage, but they can severely mess you up, so knocking them out as fast as you can is definitely a high recommendation. I will talk more about later strategies in the next video, likely, whenever we get to more difficult stuff. For now, it's just kind of playing around, but old me, like, you know, 10-year-old me would have been very proud of me playing this right now, because it was all he could do to get to stage 20, and I haven't even managed to die yet, so place your bets on when I'll actually end up dying. I will go ahead and give you a spoiler alert now. I don't end up dying in this video, so you don't have to say stages, whatever this current one is, all the way up to 20. I do not lose a life in this video. Let's see, is there anything else I want to talk about for this? There was another type of fireball, we'll see that later. Enemies will obviously change direction if they bump into something else. Fireballs are the exception because they go right through them, but this will include other enemies, freezies, coins, etc. So you do have to keep that in mind as well. Trying to think if there's anything else. Nothing's coming to immediate mind. I might have covered everything I wanted to. Oh, right, the one other thing, I was going to talk about the bees/fireflies. For whatever reason, and I'm not sure why, whenever you beat all the enemies except one, as you've already seen, the last enemy will turn blue and start moving really fast. The bees don't do that. Now, they can do that if you knock them over and then leave them alone. They will switch to green, and then they'll go from green to kind of a pinkish red color, because they were initially blue already. But if they're the last enemy, they don't go super fast, and I'm not really sure why that's the case, but that's what they do. Now, honestly, the bees are probably... Well, the spinies are easy, but, like, overall, I'd say the bees, for me, personally, are the easiest enemy normally. However, if they start speeding up, then they can become the most annoying enemy. Now, I use that term loosely because when I refer to enemies, I'm talking about enemies you have to kill in order to progress. Everything else, like fireballs, freezies, those are all, to me, stage hazards. And the stage hazards will kill you far more often than the actual enemies will. I've been killed by an enemy or hazard we're going to see in stage 17 probably more than anything else combined in the game. It's very, very obnoxious, but they have to make the game get more difficult as it goes along. And later on, you'll start seeing a pattern here, too, because, unfortunately, while this is a good game, patterns will start to develop, and you'll be getting the same set of enemies over and over. The only difference is the stage hazards will be more frequent, you know, things like that. The enemies will be able to recover faster, so you'll have to, you know, react faster. You can't just leave them there on the stage like I've been doing prior. There's the red fireball right there. What that will basically do is it's not set to one area. It's kind of just, it moves all around, unlike the green one that just bounces up and down on one lane. The red one can go anywhere. It very rarely actually makes it down to the center of the stage. It usually just stays on the top, but it can in fact go there. Since it's a little bit more difficult to kill, you will actually get 1,000 points for defeating that one instead of the 200 from the green one or the 500 from the freezie. The fireballs, for the most part, I would typically just ignore and avoid. If there's an opportunity to kill one and you're not doing anything else, then go for it. But unlike the freezie, it's not going to be something that will permanently affect the stage. Like, if the stage gets frozen, it's frozen. Like, you can't unfreeze the stage. But now that we're on stage 17, you can see that part of the stage has automatically become frozen. It will stay like that for the rest of the game. This will also introduce the most annoying stage hazard by far in the Mario Bros. Game. That would be the Icicles. These will start to form, as you can see right there. You'll see a little drop of water, then it will freeze and fall down. Now, if you make contact with that at any point once it becomes the icicle in the triangle shape, like right there, you're dead. And they can also form on the pipes on the top as well. And because they'll become more and more frequent, there'll be times often where you'll be climbing up the stage at the very start, and you'll just immediately get killed by something you can't react to fast enough. It's really stupid, but that can happen, so you'll have to watch out for it. The Icicles are hands down, if you couldn't already tell, my least favorite hazard. They're not good at all. Regardless, there is actually a way to deal with them. It's a little bit risky, which is why I don't typically do it. Whenever it gets to the second part of being formed, where it's kind of that water drop effect, if you bump into it from the bottom like you do to bump into an enemy to knock them over, it will actually remove the icicle part of it before it actually forms proper. However, if you do it too late, then of course it's just going to kill you anyway before it actually falls, because it can kill you before it actually drops proper. Just making contact with it whenever it's a triangle shape can kill you. Kind of stupid, because, you know, the idea is, oh, the icicle fell and, like, you know, impaled you in the head or something, but all you did was touch it, so, yeah, a little dumb. I guess you could theorize Mario would jump into it and it would, you know, still hit him in the head or whatever, but it's dumb, regardless. I really, really cannot stand those things. I think that is actually everything I want to cover, though. Like the green fireballs, the red fireballs will also immediately be killed by the POW block. The icicles can get killed by the POW block, assuming they're not already in the air. The freezies can get killed by the POW block, assuming that they're not going from one platform to the other. Same thing with the enemies. And I believe it automatically collects all the coins for you when you use one as well. And like I already mentioned, they do regenerate after every single bonus game. So you kind of want to use them a little often, but at the same time, not too often. But we'll talk more about that in the next episode. Thank you all for watching. I will be pausing my game, and I will see you for the next stages.